This is Badass Billy Gunn, 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, Hardcore Champion, and you're listening to IcoPod. You gotta hear this. And if you're not listening to this, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
And we're back with episode 62 of IcoPod. It's the longest running podcast in the history of podcasts. Don't even bother looking that up because it's 100% true. We've did this before Colt Cabana. We did this before Conrad. We've done this before Howard Stern. I'm Bob Conley Jr. and my fellow partner of the longest running podcast in the history of podcasts, Austin Skinner.
You're not going to ask me how I am?
No, I don't really give a fuck.
Okay, that's how we're starting this episode. Well, off a speaking of episode 60,
so we're going right into observer notes.
Oh boy, you are just ripe tonight, Bob. You are ripe.
Yeah, man, I took my pre-show dump and I am ready to go. I took some Excedrin migraine and I am loop B. I think I took about 5. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about your pre-show dump because I know that was a big hindrance last episode.
It was not a hindrance. It was just a lot of pressure going on.
It was because I think the fecal matter went up to your brain because you were still defending the Quebecers. So now that that's out of your system, I'm hoping this week you're a little bit more clear-headed. You've pooped out the 20 hot dogs you ate at the baseball game.
It was 4.
So hopefully we are back on track, back in the saddle for episode 62.
Well, I don't want to focus too much on my bowel movements here, but I made sure that when my finger broke through the toilet paper that I left the poop on my finger. So I'm going to be getting a waft of shit into my face. So if I have random opinions of stuff, it's likely because of that.
And what finger do you think hit the start button on this episode?
Your middle
that
finger.
One. No. That one did.
Your shit finger?
Yeah, because that's how this episode's starting now.
Well, we are talking about, yeah, that's pretty disgusting, I guess. But yeah, so how you doing?
I'm all right. I could be better.
What happened in literally the 13 minutes that I was not talking to you?
You know, have you ever had, and I'm sure you have, probably when you were like 12, but have you ever had like they come in little individual packages. It's like the processed cheese and the little breadstick crackers that come with it.
Oh, cheese and breadstick crackers?
Yeah, so you tear the thing open, the little processed cheese things at the bottom.
Yeah, the snacks. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so
like,
you dip the crackers into the cheese.
Exactly, like the little crackers and cheese snacks or whatever.
Yeah, they're like $1.98 or whatever, yeah.
Right. So each package is 100 calories. Okay. And I want to eat at least like 3 of them at a time. Right. And I can't.
Well, they are designed for 5-year-old kids. So
yeah. And it's a bummer because before I would eat 3 without even thinking about it and tasting the cheese. Like it would be fucking gone.
Yeah.
So like now I can only have 1 and I savor every fucking bite of that little processed cheese cracker snack. And it's pathetic. I feel pathetic.
I like how you're ashamed of this because I like when I'll get, I think it's like 30. There's like a pack of 30 fruit roll-ups or something.
Yeah.
And I, without even second guessing it, will take a handful and sit on the couch and just plow right through them.
Yeah.
I will then get up from the couch, go get another handful, sit right back down, leave the wrappers on my table as an attempt to shame myself. But that shame just makes me want to eat more to console myself. So then I just get more. And it's a battle that I'm just not going to win.
You've always been really good about the snacks though. Like I know when I'm over at Bob's, I can count on at least one good snack being around. Because I think kind of towards the end of when I was actually physically in Syracuse coming over, it was maybe gummy worms.
Gummy worms were, that was a regular.
They were in the rotation. You were doing the snack mixes a lot. Those were in the rotation. So yeah, snacks are my weakness, and that's kind of where I've cut back probably the most. And to not eat fucking like 3 of them little packages, man, is like I said last week about Marty Jannetty being a heartbreaker. That's a fucking heartbreaker.
Yeah, I was just Cheez-Its are another one for me. They are not the white cheddar, the original.
Yeah,
Cheez-Its.
yeah. I was always a goldfish guy over at Cheez-Its.
Goldfish are good.
Yeah.
I like what are they called? Combos.
Oh yes.
Combos are solid.
Yes. I've never gone to a grocery store and bought them though. Like it's always a gas station.
Gas station. That's a gas station one for sure. Like if you're traveling, like you gotta get combos.
Always. Yeah. And I think my favorite ones are the pizza crackers. So not the pizza pretzels.
No, pizza pretzels, no. Pizza crackers, yes.
Yes. Those are my favorite ones. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I try to mix them up. Like the other day, speaking of snacks, this is funny. The other day I went to the store because my Roku remote, like I guess the battery died and I didn't even know about it. So I'm literally clicking my fucking screen for like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this? And I was like, oh, the battery's probably dead. Or the batteries. So I went up to the store and got the batteries, and I was there. I was like, I don't have any snacks. And I need to like figure something out. So I went to the Hostess section.
Oh no.
And man, I felt like bashing Booger. I left with 4 boxes of Hostess snacks.
Oh, Bob.
And I don't feel bad about this. I'm on vacation, man. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Right. And it's funny because to kind of piggyback off that, when we do our 2-week grocery shop or whatever, it was getting to the point where we were buying 3 boxes of Little Debbie snacks every time we went to the grocery store.
And that's for 2 of you. I bought 4 for 1.
Right. But like every 2 weeks, we were eating 3 boxes of Little Debbie snacks. Like that's not good.
Right.
So it's definitely bittersweet, although we have found alternatives. So like fruit is a good one. I'm a way fruits over vegetables guy. Easily. Yeah. I don't think Bob eats anything that grows on a tree.
No, I refuse to do it because anytime I have a salad, my body rejects it so quickly.
Really?
It's just like, no, get this out of me. So I've decided to never cross my body ever again. I will continue to do pretty much unhealthy stuff through and through.
What's your favorite fruit, Bob?
Apple.
Is it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Apples. I would go apples, oranges, pineapple's really good.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So good for that. Pears.
See, not a lot of people like pears. I like pears.
I'm a pear guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Grapes.
Yeah, that's a classic. I'm a big blackberry, raspberry guy.
No,
I like the.
I'm not big on berries.
No, okay. Pineapple is definitely up there.
Yeah, for sure.
But so that's kind of where we're at. So I did a little snacking in between episodes here, so I'm refueled. You know what else we're a big fan of that we get every time is like the mozzarella string cheeses.
Yeah, that's another one I would get a lot.
Yeah, like the pull aparts. They're only 80 calories, so it's a nice little snack.
Yeah, that's another one where I would take like 4 of them.
Oh yeah,
sit down on my couch.
I don't do that.
I'll throw them.
But yeah, those are really good, and that was in my snack lineup here that I just put away quick.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's wondering what 4 Hostess packages I got.
It's a question on everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember without getting up and looking. The oatmeal,
Oatmeal pies. Yes. Yeah.
The Nutty Bars.
Oh, okay.
Star Crunch.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do you like the little Star Crunch or the big Star Crunch?
I get everything like big size.
So for me, like I don't like the little ones. The big ones taste better.
Yeah.
So like we get the big ones when we buy them.
I can't remember the fourth one.
Do you like the little Hostess cakes where it's like the little white frosting on top and it's like a little chocolate cupcake?
Yeah, they're all right.
I don't really like those.
This is gonna blow my. What did I get? Oatmeal cream pie, Star Crunch, Nutty Bar.
Yeah. One of our go-tos was the classic Cosmic Brownie.
That's what. Okay, so the other one was the brownies, but with the nuts on it.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Yep. So those were classics. We also like our zebra cakes.
Zebra cakes are great.
Yep, we're a big zebra cakes household.
Yep.
So yeah, we were on pretty much the same rotation there for quite a while. Haven't bought them in quite a while.
I'm a fan of the strawberry shortcake. Is it?
Okay.
That one's not bad.
I don't know if I've had that. I've seen the box, but I don't think we've had that one.
I only get ones that have more than 6 of them in it.
Oh yeah, because otherwise you're wasting your money.
It's a jip.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here you get 6 of these, or you get 6 of these things for $2. It's like, this is stupid. Especially if it's like the regular size, you're getting nothing.
Right.
Again, these are probably driven towards small children, so I should probably put that into account. But
probably, and you know what? Nutty Bars, man, that's an underrated one. We didn't buy it.
That was a sleeper because my dad would get those, and he was like, "Bob, just try it. Do you like peanut butter?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Chocolate?" "Yeah." Well, then eat this. And I ate it, and I'm like, "Holy crap,
dude!" Yeah,
I would tear them apart too, and like
right. Yeah, we haven't bought those in a while. I don't know why we never got those. Those were really good though. Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed them. We should have been talking about this on the episode in which Bastion Boogie was the guest commentator. Well, but so much for our planning.
Better late than never.
I guess. That's exactly what I say when a woman gets their period. Better late than never. On to some observer.
Okay.
Continue our journey through the.
Speaking of strawberry shortcake, let's talk about the menstrual cycle tonight.
Let's get into some observer notes. Last week's episode of Raw, we got a 2.6.
So Nutty Bars are fucking good. Those are, yep. It's Cosmic Brownies. So anyway, Dave was saying in the magazines that Bob just shit out 4 hot dogs, and we're ready for episode 62. And take it away. And go.
Oh man, I'm so glad that we don't have any female listeners. They would probably be.
We don't have any fucking listeners at this point.
I know we don't. They all turned off at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Now that the comedy is out of the way, let's get into the real show.
The comedy.
Yeah. The February 7th edition of Raw, which was 2 weeks ago, technically, got a 2.6. So we're free.
Pretty deserved.
Free falling. We're free falling. We
pretty
went from
deserved.
3.5
yeah.
to a 3.3 to a 2.6.
Yeah. Pretty deserved, I'd say.
Yeah. Ted DiBiase, if you remember him, he's been in talks about being either an announcer or a manager. And I guess it's not being ruled out about him wrestling, but that will not be until at least 1995 due to various injuries.
Anyway, continue.
Man, oh man. The WWF show on February 3rd, that was to take place in New Brunswick, Canada, had to be canceled because the ring was mistakenly sent to Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Who the fuck?
So the show was rescheduled for February 14th.
Dear God. That's ridiculous.
You gotta love it. We got 2 house shows to talk about. The first one was from Winnipeg, Manitoba on February 19th, 1994. That drew around 5,000. And here is the card. WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze taking on Heidi Lee Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luger and Tatanka teaming up to take on WWF World Champion Yokozuna and Quang. Owen Hart taking on Jim Powers. Jeff Jarrett met Bob Backlund in a singles match. Randy Savage squared off against Crush in a lumberjack match. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Quebecers, defending against the Smoking Guns. Bret Hart was in singles action against IRS. In the main event, saw WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against Shawn Michaels.
That's a fairly strong card. I think probably stronger than I would say last week's cards. A lot of mix-ups on there though. Like we got Bret and IRS. We got Yoko and Quang tagging up. Some really interesting kind of switch arounds for this house show here. 5,000 is a decent number for sure. It's no sellout that was in Germany, but that's to be expected. So I would probably attend to this show, probably not nosebleeds, but definitely not first couple of rows. So maybe first area of the bleachers, I would say, for this one, just for some of the mix-ups and matchups.
Yeah, it's a fresher card, I think.
Yeah.
We got another one here, Toronto, Ontario, at the Maple Leaf Gardens, which took place on February 20th, 1994. There's no attendance, so I don't know how many people are there. Maybe none. Maybe nobody showed up. Sparky Plug took on Rick Martel. WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze defending against Heidi Lee Morgan. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against IRS in a ladder match.
Oh, God.
Owen Hart in singles match against a guy by the name of Richard Charland, who was a substitute for 1-2-3 Kid. WWF Tag Team Champions Quebecers defending against Smoking Guns. Jeff Jarrett taking on Bob Backlund. Bret Hart in singles action against Shawn Michaels. And the main event saw WWF World Champion Yokozuna and Crush teaming up to take on Lex Luger and Randy Savage.
Again, not a bad card. IRS Razor though in a ladder match.
Yeah, I can't believe IRS in a ladder match has gotta be horrible.
Yeah, I can't say that was probably too good. Although you do have Bret and Shawn on this card, and I'm sure the Razor Lex Yoko kind of mix tag up in that main event spot was okay. I'm interested to see where these women's matches are going, because we really haven't heard too much on TV since one of the last little promos that we got. So maybe that's a hint of things to come very soon on the horizon. I don't know. But I'd say for that show, I'd probably get a little bit better seats just because I feel like it's a little bit more strong than the Winnipeg You Idiot card. So, yeah, I think that one I'm probably getting maybe 10th.
Who are you calling the idiot?
I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
No, you're not.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for playing along. I appreciate that. Let's just talk about your shit finger some more.
You're not. You're not from Winnipeg.
Yeah, no, I'm going to this one. I'm getting better tickets, and I'm.
So needless to say, I think we both would go to both shows, whether they be decent seats or not. Regardless, I think we'd be going to both of them.
Yeah, I would agree.
On to some syndication here. There's about 3 matches that we got to talk about, because
thanks for that. Appreciate that.
I'm assuming that they did this for syndication because of Raw being preempted, so they
probably
matches somewhere.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just get right into it. On the February 12th, 1994 edition of Superstars, Randy Savage was in singles action against Rick the Model Martel.
I can whip right through this if you'd like, Bob.
Hey, you know what? Go ahead.
We'll switch it up. So Martel came out. He got barely any reaction. No surprise there. And as soon as we got back from a quick commercial, the crowd was going nuts for Randy Savage. He is still probably one of the most overperformers in the company. And it's crazy to say that because he's really not one of the necessarily marquee guys right now. So you have that going for you. Vince plugged the current edition of WWF Magazine during this match with an interview featuring Savage in the magazine about being completely drug-free. So I thought that was interesting. We have that to look forward to. Bob, hopefully you can dig that up and read it right now. Yeah, I didn't think so. So getting into the match here. Martel bailed out of the ring. Nope, I'm reading this. Martel bailed out of the ring as soon as the bell rang, and Savage asked him to get back in several times. There was a lot of stalling to start this match off. So Savage went out after Martel. Martel ran around the ring to avoid him. We were back in the ring. Martel drops back to the floor. Yada, yada, yada. So, no real action to start us off here. Savage did get on a roll early, though, as he knocked Martel to the floor himself, not letting Martel escape the floor this time. Back in the ring, Martel started to build some momentum until he cut off Martel in the corner. Or, that didn't make sense. Martel started to build some momentum until Savage cut him off in the corner. We went into a classic standing side headlock. Riveting stuff. And Martel turned things around again, kept the lead for several minutes with some slow, basic stuff. And I really wasn't sure at this point what the purpose of this match was. I mean, even Savage beating Martel, if that is the case, doesn't give him much. I wouldn't say that's a huge momentum swing going into WrestleMania. So I just wasn't really sure what they were going for here as we continued into the match, the action, shall we say. They did trade a couple of near falls back and forth until Randy hit his axe handle off the top to the floor where Martel was standing waiting for him. And Martel then fought back again after kicking out of another near fall. So it was a lot of swinging of momentum. It was a relatively quick match, but I feel like they were able to fit in a decent amount of their offense, I guess. No, not necessarily spots, but their normal offense. Martel hit the post and was able to land to the, of course, very conveniently, middle of the ring for Savage to hit his elbow off the top for the finish. The crowd did pop, even though I still think this win for Savage isn't a huge deal. All in all, really basic, relatively quick match. I think they got, 9 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, that's around 9.
Yeah, so nothing really, holy crap, stand out, secret gem. No real point, just to, I guess, get Savage some match time, some screen time. I really just am over them using Martel at this point. I think anybody who gets a win over Martel there's no rub there. And if you lose against Martel, you're in deep shit. And I'm not talking about Bob's finger. So, Bob, did you have any reaction to this match? Did you like it? Did you think it served any purpose? Or were you kind of where I was at with this?
It left me with a distinct smell, like of a skill.
Okay. Anything else about the match?
No, I was bored by it, to be honest with you. It was kind of a snoozer.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I would expect from a Martel match at this point.
Yeah, and it's funny.
I don't know why he's here. And we've talked about it before. I think it's because he's a name.
Yeah.
That's what it has to be. It's
Right.
kind of like what Greg Valentine was to WCW like 2 years prior. He was just a name.
Right.
Actually, Valentine was at the Royal Rumble. So the same thing what Valentine was for the Royal Rumble. Martel has been for the single match. He's just a guy to beat on, I think, that has some name recognition to it. So
That did something in the past.
yeah.
And it just goes to show, because I literally noted a side standing headlock, So if that gets you any idea of where this match was at, you've probably got a good one at that. So yeah, I don't know, man. Martel, I got to either find some good Martel stuff from way earlier or just start ignoring people who really, really put him over huge, because 1993 and 1994 have not been kind to the model.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this before too. Like, I have not seen his AWA stuff or like early 80s, late 70s.
Yeah.
So I can't possibly put it into context. It's really from this era that I know of what Martel. Of course, late 80s, early 90s too, but Strike Force and stuff like that. But, this era of Rick Martel is just
dud.
Pretty bad stuff.
Dud.
We go to February 13th. I believe that's the following day for Wrestling Challenge. It's Tatanka taking on Jeff Jarrett in a singles match. This is arguably the biggest TV match for Jeff Jarrett this early into his career. I believe everything else has really been against like John Paul and PJ Walker.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty big match for Jeff Jarrett on the third most important show that the WWF airs on television. So put that where you want, interpret that how you want for Mr. Jeff Jarrett. Now this starts off with Tatanka running Jarrett around the ring, chasing after him. Jim Ross has left the commentary table because Gorilla told him that he's needed at the face-to-face table or booth or whatever. So Jim Ross is like, all right, well, I guess I got to get out of here and go to that face-to-face for urgent deals. All right, well, I'll see you later. And the Gorilla's like, well, Stan Lane, he'll come over. And you hear Stan Lane like fumbling with his headset.
Yeah, it's literally.
He's like, hey, Gorilla. What do we got going on here? So we got Gorilla Monsoon and Stan Lane on commentary at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett back elbows Tatanka to the mat and delivers a few strikes to keep control. Tatanka hits a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count. Jarrett avoids a crossbody off the middle rope, and he claims it's because he's so damn intelligent. Jarrett taunts Tatanka while delivering more stomps and a snap suplex for a 2 count. Jeff rams Tatanka into the corner while Ludwig Borga makes his way down to ringside. So this gives you an idea that this was taped well before the January 17th Madison Square Garden show, which saw Borga break his ankle. Tatanka is choked over the middle rope in front of Borga. Naturally, Borga delivers a cheap shot on Tatanka while the referee was distracted. Jarrett rams Tatanka into the corner, but Tatanka begins to go on a war dance. Tatanka slides to the floor and sends Borga into the ring post. Borga, fed up with this nonsense, enters the ring, attacks Tatanka while Jarrett holds him, and Tatanka just gets beaten down by the 2 heels. So obviously Tatanka has won this match by disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually Jarrett and Borga are escorted out of the ring. So you may be wondering, wow, nobody came out to help Tatanka. And the answer to that would be, you're right. Nobody likes Tatanka.
Right. And it's so as soon as Borga came out, I was like, Bob, you lying son of a bitch. I didn't even think that this was pre-recorded prior to that show. So I was confused as shit when Borga comes out. I'm thinking this is his triumphant return right here. So that was interesting. I also thought it was interesting that JR was so keen to get the fuck out of there and go join the other thing that was going on. He had no problem being like, well, see ya, Gorilla. And it's like, well, we can tell this match is fucking important because not even the commentaries want to sit at the table to commentate this shit.
He just pieced out.
Yeah. Just gone. He was just gone. So we had that going for us. I do think Jarrett and Tatanka had a decent amount of in-ring chemistry. I didn't hate the match. Yeah. I wouldn't mind maybe a potential feud down the line. I think that might be something to consider because, like I said, I didn't think this was a horrible match. It was relatively quick. I think this one went, this one got a decent amount. I think it was like 12 minutes or something, right?
No, it got like less than 6.
It did? I thought that was the Owen match.
That is Owen too, yeah. But this does not go very long.
Oh, what? Oh, I know what match. I'm thinking the Steiners and Quebecers got probably close to 12 minutes or something. Whatever. All that aside, for what it was, I didn't mind it. I didn't like the fumbling around at the table. And I thought that so Borga attacks Tatanka. We get the DQ. Then after the attack, the refs kind of pull Jarrett and Borga off. And then Jeff's just kind of looking for the overkill as he comes off the middle rope onto Tatanka. But the refs even kind of like block it. So it doesn't even really happen. I didn't like that. I didn't like that Jeff looked like he was just trying to get in one more move and the refs like stopped it. I wish Borga would have got his cheap shots in, left. The officials took Borga. And then with no officials around, Jeff's like, well, fuck it. I'm going to continue beating on this guy. And then either hit his finish or did something more of a statement instead of looking kind of like the tag-along guy. Because he kind of did at the end. So that was the only thing that I was kind of bummed out about. But all in all, I'll take it.
I'm surprised that you were saying or thinking, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Jarrett Tatanka.
Yeah.
Maybe a feud or something. I was the same way. I thought the action wasn't that bad.
Right.
And it left me intrigued to see what they could maybe do in the future. So I'm just really surprised that you had the same mindset, because I feel like you kind of warmed up to Tatanka a little bit, and then we both have been pretty disappointed by Jarrett.
Yeah.
But, to have them both deliver a relatively decent match for Wrestling Challenge and have us both be interested in it, I guess that's kind of surprising for me.
Well, and don't get me wrong, like one of the last Borga Tatanka matches I really put over is something I really enjoyed. So I think with a guy like Jarrett, I think there's potential for Tatanka to kind of shine, because I don't think, a lot of the guys we've seen Tatanka paired off with are usually not ideal. So I think with, like I said, a guy like Jarrett to kind of maybe carry more of the psychology of the match and help get Tatanka over, there might be something worth, investing in down the line for that.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. We have one more syndication match here, and I'll let Austin do this one too, because I think you're a pretty big fan of both these guys. Owen Hart squaring off against Marty Jannetty on the February 19th edition of Superstars.
Now, if this were me, and on paper, this is what we were getting. To me, this is a featured match on Raw. You got Owen Hart, who's arguably one of the hottest heels in the company right now, and Marty Jannetty, who has stayed as a consistent babyface in one of the fan favorites as long as he's on programming and not skipping shows or getting fired. So I was super interested to see this. As soon as I click on the video, I think the video was like 6 minutes, 57 seconds or something like that. And that's with entrances. And the entrances probably chewed up a good 2 minutes. So now we're down to 4 minutes of match. And I was really, really bummed out about that, because even though, they're just putting matches together, whatever, I think these two guys are capable of having a fucking awesome match. And not that I was expecting to see that on a syndication show, but come on, give me something. You got time.
Syndication would be the perfect opportunity to go and hey, give him 12 minutes.
Well, yeah, you got time to play with. Why not?
Yeah.
But we didn't get that here. And, just my luck. I think Bob gets a kick out of it. But this, of course, this Owen Marty match had, I believe, the shortest Q bar than all of the other syndication matches, of course. So here we go. Owen came out to some really good, boos, really big boos. And he rips the glasses in front of the kid on the outside, the whole deal. Marty comes out still looking pretty disinterested with his life, which again, kind of sucks. And we were right into the action. So we got a lot of circling, kind of feeling each other out to begin with. Basic stuff, a couple stalemates, kind of the normal rigmarole between two decent workers here in the beginning. We did get some really good shows of athleticism from both guys. crisp arm drags, great like high drop kicks, some solid strikes mixed in. So it was good, clean action. Owen got planted one point with a super kick that like made me be like, holy shit. Like he just got clicked on the jaw with that one. And Marty did follow it up with a power slam for a near fall, but it came down to the dreaded sharpshooter that Owen was able to lock on, and that was that. And really all I had was, it was a nice little snack of a match. So I did enjoy it. I wish that these two were able to tear the fucking house down like I know they could with Marty in the right frame of mind. But I'll take it for what it's worth. It was my favorite syndication match that we saw this week. For this taping, besides Jeff and Tatanka, a close second, which is really weird for me to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially with a Randy Savage match mixed in there. So I like this one. It was quick, to the point. Owen gets the win. Kind of a good little boost because Marty's been pretty heavily featured lately. And Owen's over as a heel. There is no doubt about it. So,
yeah, for like a 4-minute match, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Can't go wrong with Owen and Marty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was a good teaser of what they could potentially.
Yes. Do. Yeah, a good preview.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only other note here is that there was a confrontation between WWF World Champion Yokozuna and Lex Luger on February 19th on the Funeral Parlor, which is hosted by Paul Bearer, where Luger made it clear that he was confident that he will win the WWF World Championship at WrestleMania 10.
Interesting.
So Luger is pretty much promising a title change. Usually if a babyface promises and then proceeds to not win, it does not go very well. So there's no way that he would ever. He's a smart guy. He's
right.
4.0.
Right.
Dad taught him really well.
Right.
Former football player, even though he never
in
played.
Chorus, did band.
Had an instrument. Yeah, the works here. So he knows what he's doing. So spoiler alerts, Lex Luger is walking out of WrestleMania 10 as your WWF World Champion. He's promised it to us. So sorry, Bret. I guess you're not winning.
Okay.
That leads us to the February 21st edition of Raw. Of course, last week Raw was preempted by the the Westminster Dog Show or Westchester Minster Dog, whatever it's called.
Westminster Dog Show, you got it.
Yeah. We are live from Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie, New York. We got our Raw opening video. Randy Savage makes his way down to the ring to be the broadcast partner for Vince McMahon.
Yes.
This is the second time I think he's done this, back when he was actually the regular commentator guy anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for me.
Still, finally, I'm glad it's not the fucking revolving door. Give us somebody that we're familiar
I kind of like the revolving door.
No, I don't, because it's too hit or miss. It's too hit or miss.
I don't mind it.
I don't like
Randy Savage, though, has some huge news. He introduces the president of the Randy Savage fan club, which turns out to be Randy Savage. So I don't know if this is Savage saying that he is his only fan or like what's going on. But yeah, Randy Savage is the president of his own fan club.
It kind of fell flat
for himself.
Yeah, it kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
Because even Vince was like, haha. And anyway, the rest of the
it's like, okay, Randy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's also announced that Bret Hart will be in action against Tom Prichard of the Heavenly Bodies.
So you're going to be surprised, but I was kind of disappointed that it was Tom Prichard and not Jimmy Del Rey.
Me too. I think Del Rey would have been a better choice for Bret.
For Bret, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I think I'm still more of a Prichard guy in the team. But I think, like, character-wise and move-wise, Jimmy Del Rey would have been a pretty good match for Bret Hart. So I am, kind of bummed that was the case. I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tom Prichard kind of talks and acts like Roddy Piper, so maybe to the WWF, they're like, we're giving you WrestleMania 8 all over again, brother.
Yeah.
This week, though, so it's going to be a pretty big week for in-ring wrestling. So if you like when I talk about wrestling matches, long form, and we give our opinions on them, you're going to love this episode. If you're even listening after the previous 15 minutes of just nonsense comedy that literally only myself, would probably find funny.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Austin. Appreciate the support. Match number 1, WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon teaming with Marty. Oh, no. 1, 2, 3 Kid.
What in the fuck is going on here?
They are going after the WWF Tag Team Champions, the Quebecers, with the Tag Team Championships on the line. Now, like what Austin just said, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, last week it was supposed to be Marty Jannetty. But also last week I made note that Marty Jannetty, after a match with Diesel in early February, was gone for a year and a half. And that is exactly what has happened. 1, 2, 3 Kid, who, mind you, blew out his knee on January 17th and was supposed to be out for like 6 weeks. I'm no mathematician, but I don't know if that was 6 weeks.
No.
Actually, let me look at my phone real quick, and I'm just going to fill time by talking as I scroll down to 1994. This is well, now I'm in 1974. That's not what I want. No. Okay, we're on. Here we go. All right. So the 17th was on a Monday, obviously. And then today is the 21st. So he was out for 1, 2, 3, 4. He was out for 5. Well, this would be the 5th week. So he basically recovered in 4 weeks when he was initially supposed to be out for, I think it was 6 to 8.
Yeah.
So the chances that 1, 2, 3 Kid is even remotely healthy enough to be doing this, probably not high at all.
Well, and he's just trying to keep his spot. So he's going to be like, if it's legit, yeah, I'm good to go. But I can go.
He probably saw Sparky Plug and he was like, oh my God, this guy's going to steal my spot. I got to get back out there.
Knee or not, fuck it.
Yeah. Who cares at this point? I gotta stay in. That's probably exactly what happened. So.
Well, and I was pretty surprised to see him not even really. It's not even wrapped up. It's not. Doesn't even have a brace on it. If they didn't mention it at all, you probably wouldn't even know. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but another thing here is the contract was for Ramon and Jannetty. So did they have to do a whole new I don't understand.
Right. How did the Quebecers agree to that?
Yeah, was there a clause where it's like, hey, if Marty ditches me again, can I just get a new partner? Like,
can I just pick somebody else?
Yeah, I guess. It's just weird.
Weird.
All right, yeah, so I guess let's get into this. This is a pretty big tag team match for Raw, maybe even one of the biggest ones that we've, in terms of name power and everything.
Yeah.
Quebecers send Ramon to the floor, and they double team Kid. Pierre tries to dive onto the injured leg of Kid, but Kid gets the boot up and kicks Jacques away. Ramon with a fallaway slam on Kid, who lands onto Jacques for a near fall. Kid and Ramon gain control, working on Pierre's left arm. Ramon comes off the ropes, but is tripped up by fucking Johnny Polo to allow the Quebecers to get control. Ramon with a double clothesline and stalks towards Polo on the floor. Polo is backed into the corner between Kid and Ramon. Ramon plants Polo with the razor's edge on the floor. Ramon is working on Pierre as Raw comes back from commercial. Ramon and Kid tag out quickly and work on Pierre's left arm for a few moments. Pierre tries to leapfrog over Ramon, but Ramon low blows Pierre and backdrops Pierre to the mat. Kid with a spinning heel kick on Pierre. Wow, let me try that. Kid with a spinning heel kick on Pierre for a near fall. Kid works on the left knee of Pierre. Jacques gets the tag, but is taken down by Kid as well. And Kid works over Jacques' right knee. Diesel makes his way out to watch Ramon compete against the Quebecers. Ramon is double teamed in the corner. Back from another commercial, Ramon nearly pins Jacques with a roll up. Pierre collides with Jacques, which allows Ramon to tag in Kid. Pierre avoids a drop kick, and Kid crashes hard to the mat. Kid is lifted into the air by the champions and dropped across the top rope. Jacques works on the injured right knee of Kid. Jacques scoop slams Pierre onto Kid for a 2 count. Kid is controlled for several moments as the champions appear to be on their way to retaining the championships. Jock backdrops Pierre, but Kid moved out of the way and tags in Razor Ramon. Ramon cleans house with a couple of backdrops, connects with a middle rope back suplex on Pierre. Ramon signals for the Razor's Edge. Ramon has Pierre set up and connects with the move. However, Diesel is walking his way down to the ring. And then out of nowhere, Shawn Michaels dives into the ring, although he kind of clips the bottom rope, and attacks Ramon, causing the disqualification. Thus, the Quebecers retain the WWF Tag Team Championships. Now, after the match, Shawn Michaels and Diesel are proud of screwing Ramon and Kid out of the Tag Team Championships. Michaels acts like he's going to get in the ring to fight Ramon and Kid, but naturally, he backs off. Oh, awesome. What did you think of this opening tag team title match that did not feature Marty Jannetty? Instead, it's the 1-2-3 Kid and Ramon going after the Quebecers. Is this a Quebecers match that finally won you over to be a Quebecers fan?
So I have mixed feelings about this one.
Okay.
For me, and I know it's nitpicky, but to have Razor and 1-2-3 Kid tagging up and keep Kid's name 1-2-3 Kid is kind of annoying, because like he got it because he beat and made a fool out of Razor Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
Can they just call him the Kid if they're gonna do that, or something? Like just don't do that. I don't know. I don't, and it's so nitpicky and silly, and it's like a name, and who cares? But I couldn't help thinking of that. And here they are now. They're fighting the tag team champions for a shot at the titles. I mean, come on. So that was on my mind the whole time. It's got nothing to do with the action, because really the action was pretty decent. Again, the ref was allowing way too much with the Quebecers. Quebecers were in the ring together way too much. But beyond that, I think these four guys worked pretty well together. There was a lot of good kind of in-betweens, tagging outs, cutting the ring off, momentum swings. It was a pretty balanced match. 1-2-3 Kid I want to make a special shout out to, because he just seems to be almost fully confident in his role at this point. He seemed to be, nearly fully matured as this WWF star. So that was really nice to see. He's got new gear and just a new feel about him. Like, hey, I belong here. I belong to be featured. Here's what I can do. So that was really nice. I really picked up in this match, on that. With that said, it's much maybe to your surprise, Bob, I enjoyed the finish. I thought that the kind of bait and switch with Diesel walking down, you think he's going to be the one, you feel a fuck over coming, and Shawn dives in out of nowhere to cause the finish here. I thought was well done. I liked it. It had me fooled. I thought Diesel was going to get in there and attack Razor on behalf of Shawn, and Shawn would just come down and be like, haha, we screwed you over. So that was good. It just felt fueled. So Shawn's attack felt fueled, and I guess the match did really kind of serve a purpose. So I did. I liked that. I liked the visual of, Diesel up on the ramp where it's like kind of shadowed lighting. This huge guy is just watching this match. So all in all, I did like it. I think the Quebecers kept up pretty well with the younger, more exciting team. So all things considered, I'll give this one a thumbs up. Repeat, thumbs up. So pretty good opener, solid action. If this was what we're to expect the rest of the night, that sounds good to me. I'm a wrestling guy for sure, and especially when the wrestling enhances a storyline, and this one did. So kudos to all involved.
Well, hell's frozen over again.
Yeah. Seriously.
I thought it was decent. I found myself more interested in it early on, like early to mid match. kind of maybe as it went on, I found myself becoming more disconnected from it.
It started to get kind of into more of the same.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell that they maybe got a little bit too much time.
I was gonna say they cut off a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Like 4.
Yeah.
It probably would have served a better purpose, better point.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on the finish with you thinking Diesel will get on the apron or something.
Yeah.
Some schmaz.
Yeah.
And then Shawn just books it out of nowhere. Like I said, he kind of clipped himself on the bottom rope a little bit. But yeah, that was an effective thing. I feel like sometimes I feel like most of the time I don't like the bullshit interference finishes. But this one needed to happen probably.
Yeah, and I mean, I think lately, especially with all the polo shit and the Quebecers and the fucking IRS shit, like the random stuff that is just too much and overdone isn't good, to where Shawn's, it's kind of a part of the story. Because don't forget, he pulled them out of the razor's edge, and now this. It's kind of like Shawn keeps getting these one-ups on Razor, and it's getting under Razor's skin, and that's the whole point. So the fact that it wasn't Diesel, and we're made to think it's going to be Diesel, I really like. To whereas when Polo comes down, Polo's going to pull some bullshit.
Yeah.
So I did like that. I like that. I agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah, decent tag match. Maybe I might have expected more out of it, but I can't really complain at the end of the day about it. It's not horrible by any means.
Right.
Ico Pro with Lex Luger, Slim Jim ad with
boom. Yep.
Next week on Raw, WWF World Champion Yokozuna will defend against Randy. Oh yeah, cream of the crop. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, dig it. Randy Savage. This is what? March WrestleMania 9. He got a shot. Fucked that up and lost that one. Or no, was it March?
Finish of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It wasn't for the title though, but he fought Yoko.
Not for the title. Not for the title.
So he messes up at the 1993 Royal Rumble, loses at the March to WrestleMania 9 to Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Did he wrestle him on any Raws in 93? I don't think so.
I don't think
so. This is at least the third time. This is the second match technically against Yokozuna, but this time it's for the World Championship. So if you think Randy Savage is going to win this match, like I've said before, I have a timeshare I would love to sell to you. Get in contact with me. It's a great deal. And you'll thoroughly enjoy it. As much as I would love for Randy Savage to be the WWF World Champion once again, considering the angles that Yokozuna is currently involved in that are the main event of WrestleMania 10, there is absolutely under no circumstance is Randy Savage going to win this match.
Yeah.
But it's a big match. And regardless of it, even if this was 1994, I would probably be tuning in regardless, knowing that Randy was going to lose. I'd still watch it.
Yeah, and it's just Randy knows how to take a good ass beating.
Yeah.
So at least if nothing else, if you know the finish, at least the journey to get there will be hopefully somewhat entertaining.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette has made his way out to the ring, and he begins to cut a promo for Yokozuna. Cornette tells us that Savage better wake up and realize that he will not be winning the WWF World Championship. And then he proceeds to introduce Tom Prichard for the next contest.
Yeah, Cornette does a nice little zinger here. So, if Savage even dreams that he's going to beat Yokozuna, he mentions he better wake up and apologize. Yeah. Because Yoko plans to snap into him like a Slim Jim. So I thought that was a pretty good line, using Savage's own stuff against him like only Cornette can. So I'm looking forward to that match, even though, like we said, there's fucking no way Randy Savage is winning.
I mean, it would be great can you imagine going into WrestleMania 10, it's Randy Savage has to defend against Lex Luger
and Bret Hart. Holy fuck.
I would, if that were to happen, Bret Hart, let's say Savage were to to defeat Lex Luger. Then Luger turns heel. He's like, fuck this bullshit.
Right.
And then it's fucking Savage, Bret, Madison Square Garden, main event.
Right.
Sign me the fuck up. Sorry,
Right.
Crush. You don't have a spot anymore because we're going Savage, Bret. Hell yeah.
Unless you do with Crush, he's pissed at Yokozuna for losing the belt, and he just fights him in a street fight. He's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm taking Mr. Fuji, and we're kicking you out of the group.
Yeah, you can turn Yoko babyface real quick.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? So many different options are maybe better than what they end up doing, but we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah.
That brings us to the main event. That's right. There's only 2 matches this week. The first match got significant amount of time. By the way, that tag team match went quite a while. It's Bret Hart here against Tom Prichard, one half of the Heavenly Bodies. Early on, it's a slow start, with the match mainly consisting of mat wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fan of that type of stuff, you'll enjoy the few minutes that they focus on that.
Trading holds, everything was
Counters.
Yeah. Yep. Tom's getting in cheap shots when he can. The kind of the basic stuff.
It's kind of like a slow Smoky Mountain beginning.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of saw it.
Yeah.
Prichard works over Hart in the corner with a few blows to the chest, but Hart battles back with several right hands, a backdrop, and a drop kick. Hart controls Prichard with a hammerlock. Prichard fights out of the hold with several shoulder rams. Prichard works on Bret as Raw returns from commercial. At this point, Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block calls in to hype up his appearance at WrestleMania 10 as a special ring announcer. Austin, I'm not really I didn't write down, nor was I even paying attention as to what Donnie had said. So was there anything that he said that was notable or anything important?
Well, Vince, first of all, he's promoting his album, right? He's promoting his album. He's going to appear at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. So Vince asks about the jealousy, if there is any, between himself, so Donnie, and Marky Mark, who is his brother. And, Donnie basically says he could relate to Bret and Owen, but him and his brother, they've always been okay. Donnie just droned on and on to Vince, and basically Vince cut him off. He was talking about his relationship with Marky Mark and blah, blah, blah. Vince was trying to tie it into WrestleMania, the Bret versus Owen thing, and you could tell Marky Mark didn't really, or you could tell Donnie Wahlberg really wasn't too brushed up, let's say, on his WrestleMania storylines. So he just talked about
surprise a celebrity not knowing what's going on in WWF.
Yeah, so he just talked about kind of what he knew with his family, which is fine. Whatever. Let me see if there's anything else that I noted here. No, that was really it. So Vince cuts him off. We'll see you at WrestleMania sort of thing. I thought it was funny that they brought up Marky Mark, but I think he was kind of the bigger star at the time, was he not?
Marky Mark or Donnie?
Marky Mark.
I think Donnie had more momentum.
Okay.
With New Kids on the Block and everything. They were,
Wasn't he in a movie and stuff too?
Mark. Okay. So Mark Wahlberg
is a late bloomer.
Yeah, because the Marky Mark stuff almost killed his career, I think.
Okay.
And because I know Marky Mark was his singing,
rap name.
Yeah, but he was also a underwear model.
Yes.
And then it wasn't until the mid 2000s or so that Mark Wahlberg really kind of became a serious actor and good.
Okay.
So yeah, Donnie. But now they're both here in 2019. I don't want to say they're both Mark is probably the bigger star, but Donnie's he's been on a show for a while. He's doing pretty well. So they're probably both very successful.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't really tell from the way this guy was calling in. I guess since they had Donnie call in, he's the bigger star. But it was just funny how, again, Vince tried his best to tie it into the Hearts, and Donnie proceeded to not tie it in at all. And Vince was like, well, okay, thanks. We'll see you at WrestleMania. Get off our fucking...
This was pointless.
Yeah, get off our fucking telephone line.
Yeah. We got Hacksaw's trying to call in on his 2x4. We're going to
go. Yeah, so that's all there really was to the good old phone call.
Yeah. All right, so back to the match here. Bret with the backslide for a 2 count. Prichard gets control by choking Bret over the middle rope for a few moments. Randy Savage prevents Jim Cornette from hitting Bret with his tennis racket. Cornette hits his head on the ring steps. Hart gains control of the match with a side rush and leg sweep and nearly wins the match with an inside cradle.
Yeah, really quick too. When Savage jumps back on commentary, he goes, "Tennis, anyone?" After he just fucking killed Jim Cornette. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Hart with a backbreaker and a flying forearm drop from the middle rope. Cornette distracts Hart, which allows Prichard to knee Bret to the floor. Owen jogs down to the ring and taunts Bret and rolls Bret back into the ring. Bret avoids a knee lift in the corner and takes Prichard down with a vertical suplex. And then Bret locks in the sharpshooter, which causes Prichard to tap out. After the match, Owen is surprised that Bret has won the match. Bret wants Owen to get into the ring, and Owen slowly makes his way down to the ring, but a referee stops Owen from entering the ring. So that kind of ends that segment. To be honest with you, kind of a bummer. I wasn't too big on this.
Yeah.
Just like how you are. Like, I feel like we're both pretty, I don't want to say pretty big fans, but we enjoy the Heavenly Body unit.
Yeah.
And we both enjoy Tom Prichard. I don't know what the attempt here was with Bret, but in the tag match, I enjoyed probably like halfway through the tag match. Like, I was whatever. I don't think at any point in this match, I was like, fuck yeah, man, Prichard Hart. Like, this is going to be great. Like, that's what I wanted. And I didn't get it.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that, because when I think of Bret Hart on Raw, it always feels like a big deal. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Every time. It feels like a big match.
And I feel like that's a very rare thing with these guys. Like with Bret and Randy, I think we get that vibe of like, okay, shit, this is going down. And everybody else is like, it's a normal appearance.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah. This match didn't feel big.
No.
It didn't feel big. And I don't want to fault Prichard for that, but bringing in an outside talent, making it a half of a tag team, I think plays a factor into things. Now, don't get me wrong, one of the best matches of the year, 1993, Fatu Bret Hart, half of a tag versus Bret Hart. But I just think it was the circumstance, right? So it's less focus on the match, more focus on, first of all, when's Owen coming out? Because we know he's going out, right? There's no real other reason to have Bret just facing a random guy on Raw this close to WrestleMania. So that's obviously the case, right? So you're waiting for Owen. The match does drag a little bit. Again, it gets a lot of time. So you have that kind of playing into a factor. And Cornette's out there. And Cornette does take a little bit of the spotlight away from the action just naturally because he is so good. So I think there's a couple things playing into that, to whereas before when we've seen Bret on Raw, it's a Bret Hart match, wrestling, a Bret Hart match, and it's usually pretty fucking good. There's really not too many distractions. And if there is, it's because it was planned out that way. So like, for example, King, when it was Bret and Bam Bam, right? That wasn't designed to be a 5-star match. It was designed to be Lawler distracting Bret. So that's kind of what I chalk this up to. This wasn't meant to be a 5-star match. This was meant to get more heat on Owen Hart when he interferes. So I kind of went into that mindset, and I was disappointed. You know, it could have been a lot better. I know Prichard's worth and worthy a better match, but I don't think that was the goal with this one, and that is a bummer. But I really liked the spot with Cornette and Savage. I thought that was well done. I don't think Cornette was supposed to hit his head on the fucking ring steps.
No, that did not look like a planned moment.
So that was pretty funny. And I thought the interference from Owen here, the appearance of Owen was interesting because I don't know if you picked up on it, Bob. I'm sure you did. But Cornette kind of gave him a nod and a look, So that was interesting to me. It kind of maybe we're gonna see a little Camp Cornette in Owen's corner or something, because there was definitely an interaction there, a quick, very subtle one.
Yeah. Which I think would be good for Owen. Not to say Owen's a bad talker. Obviously, he stumbles over his words and stuff like that. But I think Cornette would be a huge asset for him.
Yeah.
In that department.
Even more legitimacy to his heel.
Yeah.
So I did like that as well. So there was definitely positives. There was definitely negatives. I think action-wise, kind of standard. Like you said, very Smoky Mountain Wrestling in the beginning. Probably got too much time to just serve the purpose that it was going to serve all along.
Well, and you made mention of the Fatu Bret match from, I think it was March 1st of 93. That one, I think, is a little different than this one between Bret and Prichard, because at that point, the Head Shrinkers as a unit had been protected very heavily, I would say. I don't think they had even lost a match on television, pay-per-view wise. They had been pretty strong, and you could buy into the Head Shrinkers being, as singles guys, like a force to be messed with. Meanwhile, with the bodies, it's like they lost to the Steiners at SummerSlam 93. They've had trouble with like the Rock and Roll Express. It's just not, I wouldn't say they've been heavily promoted as like a top heel team.
Not really, no.
Yeah. No. So this is a match where you go into it and it's just like, Bret's going to win. Right. But you have that hope of like he's a capable guy.
He can hold his own.
Right? Sure. And he's had moments, like, for instance, in Memphis wrestling. I hate always doing that, like bringing it up. But like he's had memorable moments even before Smoky Mountain. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, if I could talk. What am I turning into, Owen? Where, he had really good heated feuds and matches and stuff like that with like Dirty White Boy and Continental and all these things.
Yeah.
And then here it's just a basic borderline extended enhancement match for Bret over Tom Prichard. So in that way, it's just a disappointing showing to me. Yeah,
I think they misused him for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, you need to. I feel like the Heavenly Bodies are kind of replacing the Beverly Brothers.
That's what I mean? Yeah, that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, like I think this is something where Blake Beverly would have been used. And now it's like we'll put in Prichard or Del Rey.
That's a really good comparison. So I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I like the Beverly Brothers, and I like the Heavenly Brothers.
Yeah, not to shit on the Beverly Brothers, but that was kind of their role.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just use these guys.
Yeah, as soon as we burn out on all the tag teams to job you to, we'll break you guys off for single matches and have you elevate other ones.
Right. No, I agree. And really, the only reason I kind of connected the Fatu match to this one was, it's not to say that a tag team guy can't have a good singles match with Bret Hart, because that happened. Yeah. So, and if anything, Prichard's got just as good a shot as Fatu does to have a good match with Bret Hart.
Sure.
So I totally agree with you. I think it was wrong place, wrong time, kind of wrong guy to be doing that with right now. But all in all, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. No. But definitely not the big match feel that we usually get with Bret Hart.
Yeah. I don't want, maybe at the end of the final thoughts, like I really don't want to express this as being bad wrestling. It's just disappointing wrestling.
Yeah. Right.
We go into the WrestleMania 10 report with Todd Pettengill. Pettengill hypes up a few of the celebrities that will be at the event. They include Little Richard, Burt Reynolds, Donnie Wahlberg, Jenny Garth, Bucky and Vinny, and Cy Sperling. And Pettengill also goes over the WrestleMania 10 card. These are the matches that are already announced. Go ahead.
Yes. And then really quick. So I was like, at first I was like, who the fuck is Cy Sperling?
The hair guy.
Yeah. Todd then proceeded to explain, it's the Hair Club for Men president. Like, what? Who the what F-list celebrity fucking bullshit is that?
I know.
And then Bucky and Vinny from Showtime, like I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, I think Bucky and Vinny out of that whole list is the only people I've never heard of.
Yeah. Well, who's Jenny Garth?
She's
Jeannie
from
Garth.
90210.
Oh, okay.
Da-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na, ch-ch, ba-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na, ba-ba, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-ba. Are you gonna cut me off at any point, or you let me do the whole fucking theme song?
No, I was gonna wait.
Jesus Christ.
It's so funny that like you get Burt Reynolds, Little Richard, Donnie Wahlberg, and then it just fucking falls off a cliff, and it's like, oh, okay.
Johnny Garth, Buggy and Vinny and Iceberg. It's like, just maybe cut off after Donnie.
Literally.
So the WrestleMania card that is announced, there's quite a few new matches, actually.
Yes.
So this will be fun to go through. Randy Savage is still taking on Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Razor Ramon will defend the WWF Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match against Shawn Michaels. The Quebecers will be defending the WWF World Tag Team Championships against the Steiner Brothers. Oh, I'm sorry. Not the Steiner Brothers. That is Men on a Mission. Okay.
Fuck you.
Whoop. There it is. Mabel and Mo. Grandest stage of all.
Fuck you.
Alundra Blaze will defend the WWF Women's Championship. I don't believe an opponent was announced for that. It's just,
who do we think that's going to fucking be?
She'll be there.
The only other diva that's worked for WWF in the last fucking 7 years or whatever.
Who do you think it's going to be?
The broad she was fighting in Canada.
Heidi Lee Morgan or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. I honestly, without looking at the card, I have no idea who she's wrestling. Earthquake will be at WrestleMania 10. He'll be in singles action against Ludwig Borga.
That was weird to me.
Yeah, that makes no sense because number one, I'm going to point this out a million times over until I get blue in the face. Borga broke his ankle on January 17th. Yeah. They are aware that he is out for a substantial amount of time and he's being promoted for WrestleMania 10. I don't know if these guys understand what a broken ankle is all about.
And not only that, where the fuck is that coming from?
I know.
I thought
this would be like Tatanka taking on Borga in a cage match or Notice Well or something. Instead, it's Earthquake.
Yes, exactly. What? Exactly.
Yeah, that's a.
How is it not Tatanka Borga? Like, how is that not the match?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's too obvious for that to be the direction. And they're just like, you know what? I don't think people want to see that. We'll just, what's Earthquake up to?
Yeah, throw Tenta in there.
Yeah. Have they had any interaction in the past 6 months? No? Okay, yeah, fuck it. We'll do it.
Sounds good.
Like, whatever. Here's a barn burner. Doink and Dink will meet Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon in a mixed tag team match. Now, usually a mixed tag team match means that there's a male and female on both teams. Now, unless Dink doesn't have a Dink, well, then I don't know how this is a mixed tag team match.
Well, they're basically saying it's a handicap because Luna's a woman.
Right.
Because being a woman means that's a handicap in life. Because only men are worth anything.
Exactly. Even if you're half a man, it is still greater than being a woman.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
All right. Yokozuna will defend the WWF World Championship against Lex Luger first. Bret Hart will be in action against his own brother Owen. And then Bret will take on the winner of the Yokozuna versus Lex Luger match for the WWF World Championship. Pettingill hypes up the possibility of Randy Savage winning the WWF World Championship next week on Raw because remember, he is wrestling Yokozuna. Jim Cornette, Yokozuna, and Mr. Fuji make their way out of the backstage area right before a commercial break. I believe during that commercial break, a brief little Richard promo hyping his appearance at WrestleMania 10 is shown.
Yeah, he says, everybody talks about the wild men in WWF, but he's the original wild man of rock and roll. and we will see him at WrestleMania. So you can tell that the WWF basically sent a camera guy and probably some fucking J-Bro and right-hand man to Vince McMahon to go film this quick because it was probably written for him.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette is upset with Randy Savage for stealing his property, which would be his tennis racket, because Savage still has it. Savage slides into the ring and he wants to fight WWF World Champion Yokozuna. Savage gets a boot in as the crowd is really behind Savage to close the program. So final thoughts here real quick. Again, I do not want it to come across as if the in-ring wrestling was bad. It was not bad. It was disappointing. Disappointing doesn't necessarily mean bad. I liked this episode because there wasn't a lot going on in terms of segments. It was basically just 2 wrestling matches taking up an extended period of time, and then you're done.
There was no fluff.
Right. It's just, this is what you get.
Here's the action. Here's the segments that you probably care about. Here's what's going to happen at WrestleMania. See you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that, I liked it. The in-ring wrestling, decent, solid. My expectations for it were to be maybe good, borderline great, but it's still solid to decent wrestling. I didn't hate the episode. Pretty easy to watch. I would suggest watching it just because of kind of big matches going on. There is some promotion, especially for Michael's Ramon and stuff like that. And, you know, Bret Prichard's not bad, really. It's an easy watch. Better than last week's. Probably one of the better ones in ring wise in the last several weeks. It's just, you know, you kind of get bummed out when you expect maybe really, really good wrestling. But it was decent. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think I think it was far and away better than last week.
Yeah.
And I would even say that it's been one of my favorites for a while now. So, you know, I would say pop this on if you're kind of sitting there, maybe you're doing some homework, you're reading through some emails, you want something in for something you can kind of pop your eyes up and watch. This would probably be a solid Raw for that. There was solid action, good build for Bret and Owen, Razor Shawn. I liked the finish and the setup for the Razor and Kid match with Shawn and the Diesel tease. And we got pretty much the full card for WrestleMania announced. And it really felt like with this episode that WrestleMania is around the corner. This felt like, okay, we've talked about WrestleMania. Hey, WrestleMania is really coming up. And this kind of helped drive it home. So I did. I liked this week. I'm more of a less frills, BS, fucking filler. So this was my type of Raw this week.
Yeah, next week's episode seems to be centered around Yoko Savage, which sure, again, we know what's probably going to happen, but that's a pretty big match. Like, the biggest match for Raw 94.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 94 for sure. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It just hit me though right now is I don't think we realized that we have 2 more Raws before we even get to March to WrestleMania 10, because we have 228 Raw and then 37 too.
Oh.
So that was a bit of a alarming thing that we could have skipped over a Raw and not even realized it. We got 2 more weeks here. So next time we sit down for a taping, which will be next Thursday anyway, we'll have 2 more Raws. And then it's time for March WrestleMania 10 and then WrestleMania 10 itself. So we are already almost realistically the first quarter of 94 that we're already wrapped up with. So we're moving along here on IcoPod.
Yeah, it's crazy too. And it's funny because I think back to like the hype up for WrestleMania 9 and how excited we were and how much looking forward to, hey, maybe we're going to get some really good payoffs at the WrestleMania show. And then we were disappointed. So I'm hoping this year it's a little bit different of a story. And I think it's going to be, just because the storylines have been built up way longer than they were for WrestleMania 9. So that's already a welcome change. And just from what's announced on WrestleMania 10, I think it's just going to be overall a more exciting show. there's several things where you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. And I like that. I prefer that. So it does feel more of a grab bag this year. There's a lot more gimmick matches this year, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. You know, it helps definitely add in some variety. And I think at this point, I'm probably looking forward to WrestleMania 10 more so than WrestleMania 9 back then.
Yeah, without question. And for me, I always love Madison Square Garden, the crowd,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Even when, like with the house shows that I would review and stuff, it's just that building and that crowd is just, you never know what you're going to get from it.
Right.
So I'm really, really looking forward to watching it and then also talking about it to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody else listening to us is looking forward to it as well. Yeah, I don't know where else I was going, but I do want to point out though, after WrestleMania 10, okay, it's like 3 months, and so we have another pay-per-view,
Right.
for King of the Ring. So that's gonna be a long time before we get to another show. So what I'm probably gonna do in that situation is maybe try to find a house show or two that maybe we would travel to, do a live watch just to break it up, similar to what we did on January 17th.
Sure.
Just because, I mean, that's going to be at least like 16 Raws or something before we get another pay-per-view for this little journey. So be on the lookout for that. I liked the live watch. It seems by
Downloads.
Yeah, they were digging the live watch. So I don't know if anybody else has ever done a live watch of that show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the house show stuff.
Yeah, so those are a lot of fun. And if you guys have suggestions for maybe house shows that you during this time frame, of course, I don't want somebody to give check out this 1984 house. No, we want to keep it into the time frame that we're in. You can pass them along to us, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, that kind of wraps up, I guess, episode. Is it 62 now?
That's episode 62, brother.
We have been doing this for a while. I wish I had a life. I wish I had a girlfriend. That way I didn't have to keep on talking to you every fucking Thursday. Oh my God. Are we still on the air? Thank you for the handful of people that reviewed us on iTunes.
Yes, finally.
So thank you guys for doing that. If any, we would love it for anybody that's listening to us to give us a 5-star review. Leave a comment. I know Mike Campbell left us a comment on there where he kind of blasted Austin for not being a Bobby Eaton fan, which I'm totally in support of. Definitely blasted.
I overlooked that part. I overlooked it. I skipped right over it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys find us on iTunes, just do a quick 5-star review and leave us a comment. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that way we don't look like we're a bunch of fucking J-Brones.
Yeah.
This shit's professional.
That's fucking right, man. We don't use dirty language.
No, we stay on topic.
Yep.
We don't talk about lewd things.
Never. We're good for family. If you have children and you're trying to maybe go on a vacation and you're in a car for 9 hours and you want them to listen to a clean, family-oriented podcast, IcoPod.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we don't even mock handicapped or
never
deceased wrestlers ever.
Never. We have never made inappropriate jokes about, Kamala's legs being chopped off and then, using them for whatever reasons. Like, we've never done that. Nor would we ever.
It's nothing but class.
Yes.
Nothing but class.
100%. If anything, we're educational.
Yes.
Like your children would learn, hey, Too Cold Scorpio was given the gift of basically a weapon in his pants that he was just born with.
Put this on in the classroom. These kids got to learn.
Yeah.
We're doing the Lord's work on this podcast.
100%.
So,
and I will show this to my kids. I will have them listen to it.
I will sit them down.
Yep.
And I will let the boy hear what I have to say.
Right. They will think I'm the coolest person in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I get out of jail for child abuse, There will only be really one phrase that I will need to say to all of you. Bob, can you guess what that phrase is?
You've got to hear it.
Send me some bail money.
Oh. What is it called when you get money for like food and stuff? What is it called?
Food stamps?
No. When you're in jail and you have to get money, they gotta send you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want my ramen noodles in prison, so you can please send me 60 cents. I'll give you my PO box. I'm in there making license plates all goddamn day, spelling out WCW. They're like, you can't make the same license plate every fucking day. Write something else.
Fine, NWO. God.
Stick to the fucking script.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we are so good here at Icopod. All right, Austin, you got anything else here for episode 62, or should we just wrap this sucker up?
WrestleMania 10, here we come.
Perfect. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Conley Jr., and this has once again been the family-oriented PG wrestling podcast known as Icopod.
You gotta smell Bob's finger.